My name's Dave Dubeau, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey folks, welcome back. Today another great episode. And zooming in from beautiful Wisconsin, we've got a very accomplished real estate entrepreneur, Peter Miller, who has been able to leave his six-figure job and focus on real estate investing full-time. So Peter, welcome to the call. Great to have you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So give us a big picture snapshot of what your real estate investing business looks like August 2024. What do you do? What's the portfolio look like? What's your focus? What's the market area that you're focusing on? That kind of good stuff.
So we're focusing around Madison, Wisconsin. It's kind of where we've been focusing the last decade. We got around 5 million in real estate. We're leveraged probably about 40%. We got 19 doors. We got 7 duplexes and a 5-unit. We're wrapping up on a duplex right now. We're probably about 11,000 positive after PITI. Cash flow after CapEx and vacancy, we're probably about 8 or 9 grand a month, tax free on that right now. On Friday, we just got an accepted offer on 26 more doors, and so that's going to be a duplex in West Dallas, closer to Milwaukee, which I'm not very interested in. So I'm going to offload that. We got that locked up for 1.375. So the 24 unit will be 1.2 million. We're getting a bank financed 500K loan in that. So it's going to push us to 1.7. And those rents on that apartment can be upwards of 28K a month. I think probably in the range of 24, 25 for an evaluation of probably 2.4 to 3 million is kind of where we're going to be at in a year. So I think we'll be upwards of $1 million we'll make on that in net worth, with the possibility to refi cash out 400K and still almost be 10K positive a month cash flow once the renovations are done. So once I left my W-2, I was kind of like in this kind of euphoric way of like, hey, I'm like retired almost, and this was great. I could sit at home, and I took 6 months off with my kids, and I enjoyed it. And then I had a move out happened, and then they're painting these walls, and I'm like, I'm going to be painting the walls and caulking these tubs for the rest of my life unless I scale. We're not leveraged very much. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to have to vertically integrate and bring in my skills, and let's bring some guys on full time with my HVAC company and construction company. So, and so why don't we bring those skills in house? So that's my goal now. So I'm looking at bringing it in house and in-house management, maintenance, rehab in house. I think we can acquire 2 to 3 million a year every year now, and I think we're going to scale very quickly to 200 doors. I'll be at about 45 this year. I think we'll be at 200 within 3 years, and I see us being at probably 1,000 doors in probably 8 years. Another 5 after that. So, and I see us doing all in house. No investors. I don't think I'll need any investors. Not that I wouldn't take them. I haven't brought like any investors on, but in the last couple of months, I have had guys reach out to me. Hey, I have 400K looking to invest possibly. Let me know if you have anything. And but really haven't needed the capital, but I'm also looking for bigger deals now. So I might need that capital moving forward. But for now, this bank loan, it's a 10% down. I just got a big line of credit from this apartment complex that we finished up a couple years ago. So got like a 300K line of credit. So I'm only going to use 170 of that for this 24 unit, but the other 90 will be financed by the bank plus the rehab. So they might put a second on another property, which is fine. But once it's done here in a year, that should all be cleared up, and I should just be able to have zero money into it. If not zero money and 400K in my pocket, it's kind of my end goal is to walk away with a check of like 200K and a cash flow almost 10K a month. So that's kind of where I'm at. It's kind of changed here in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, it's been exciting couple of weeks here. So
awesome, Peter. So would you say you started off kind of like with the duplexes, then you're getting into larger multifamilies? So it sounds like you're kind of doing the multifamily BRRRR strategy, for lack of a better term. Would that be a kind of a good synopsis? You're buying properties that you can fix up and add value to and refinance and pull capital out or get a line of credit on them. Is am I getting the right gist?
Yeah, yeah, and I think vertically integrating, you know, that is going to allow us with higher interest rates to kind of buy properties that maybe other people can't because we're keeping costs down. So by bringing everything in, it looks like somebody's here. My dog's barking. But so um, but uh, but uh, but yeah. So the duplex that we just bought. So previously, I would buy these properties, save 25%, work 100 hours a week. Didn't know about investors. I would fund the rehabs myself. And then I started reading a couple books like, wow, I'm doing this all wrong. I've been scaling and I could have grown a lot faster.
Well, yeah, yes and no. And of course,
Sure.
I'm a big investor kind of guy, but there's a lot to be said for what you've done, Peter, in the fact that you've self-financed and you own 100% of these properties, right? So definitely nothing wrong with that. And you've got pretty good, equity in a lot of these properties. So there's definitely a lot to be said for you for that. So don't knock yourself. So what would you say is kind of your secret sauce, Peter, when it comes to finding these deals? You're finding off-market deals or through realtors?
Yeah. The probably last three deals that we bought and have been all off market. Actually last four have been off market. And some have had realtors get involved. Like the realtor comes in, and it's like, oh no, this is worth way more. And so our kind of bread and butter is the worse off the better. Like I'm looking for uh, you know, badly managed, the worst apartments. The one that that we're buying right now is probably the worst one in the city. And it's a good area. And the police said that they had to change that they had to pass some sort of amendments to label how to define like nuisance properties so they could charge the owner for the police getting called there every shift. And so they started charging, and the owner he just paid it. You know, charged them to trim the bushes and the hedges because there was some activity going on behind it that the police wanted better view of. And so yeah, it's this kind of properties that we've purchased, and it kind of scares away some people, but I think the profit margins are pretty
Yeah.
good. We purchased some where there's like so many flies that you can't shut the windows. You know, it just like they're in the track, you just can't shut them. Yeah, and but this one here has two
Yeah. Yeah.
condemned units that have flooded out, just badly managed. There's some bad grading. There's a couple of units in the basement, so we'll get in there with some equipment. We'll pull all the trees out, all the bushes out, uh, bring 500K of capital into the city, and we'll turn one of the biggest eyesores into one of the most beautiful properties in that city. And with that, we'll put granite countertops in. We'll like tile backsplash and really, really fix it up. I am kind of leaning on maybe going to the city and saying, hey, I I plan on updating the inside, but being where this is, it'd be great to have a the outside match the inside, and it's on a main street. Would you guys be interested in maybe uh, having a grant or giving some money to kind of update this front facade, like of the building? And worst case, they're going to say it's just no, right? And so, but
Yeah.
best case, maybe they give me 100K or maybe 50K to fix it up. So it can't hurt to ask. So that's what I plan on
No,
doing
exactly.
next week. So yeah.
Nice, nice. No, that sounds fantastic. So, Peter, you're creating a vertically integrated company. Well, you kind of told us at the beginning what your plans are for the next couple of years. You want to keep building things up. Are you going to start bringing investors on, or are you going to keep self-financing everything moving ahead?
I guess it depends on the availability to capital and then what the terms are with those investors. I you know I think that kind of determines if it's a right fit or not. And then as much as the investor is going to interview me, I'm going to interview them. right? Because it's got to work both ways, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, well, hey, what are you looking? Are you looking long term? Are you looking as a short term, I want gain with that. So I haven't considered it, but it's not that I'm not considering, I guess, so to speak. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, especially when you're first starting off, are you fairly well connected with the local business community because of your companies and whatnot?
yeah, yeah, yeah. And being that we're leveraged, have we got probably about $3 million worth of equity that we can kind of cross collect, so being right now, it's not like we're starting off. We've kind of built a real good foundation. And a lot of these higher rates that are affecting some people with larger multifamilies, we're locked into 3.625 rates on all these duplexes. And years ago, when the rates dropped, I pulled out like 200K cash and, really levied up my reserves. And so that's a hard thing is like, I got quite a few million in these duplexes. It would be great to sell them, but it's hard for me to look at this duplex and say, hey, I'm cash flowing $1,500 a month. And I really want to trade two headaches for eight and make the same amount because rates are
Yeah.
higher and I got to put work into it. And these are already remodeled units with great tenants in great areas, in a booming area. And so it's kind of hard to trade that up. And so it's not that I want to do it, but I just haven't found the opportunity where it's like, okay, hey, I need to do this. But it's nice having options where I can put like a second position and not sell it because that's kind of hard. It's like, how do you sell something that's 3.625 debt? You
Yeah.
know, moving to something.
No,
But
I probably wouldn't. But
yeah,
if it's doing well, why would you? Yeah, but
exactly.
definitely. Here's the nice thing, Peter. In your position right now, you can kind of, if you know people in the local business community, you can bring them on board as passive investors, as private money lenders, and you guys negotiate the terms. If it works for them and it works for you, great. If not, that's okay too, right? So the
Sure,
nice thing is, if you don't need the money, that's the perfect time to be asking for it.
sure. Yeah, and that's where I've had a couple of people reach out here, and you know, it's available, but I haven't, and I think part of it is that until I started joining some of these real estate groups, you kind of are part of your circle, right? And if your circle has, 50 doors, 100 doors, you kind of get this idea like, wow, that's like high up there. But then you get in some of these real estate groups and guys have like 2,000 doors, 1,000 doors. You're like, wow, it's, a whole different level that
Yeah.
I was, completely, unaware of. And,
Oh
and,
yeah,
and so,
but here's the cautionary tale, Peter. They might have 2,000 doors,
sure,
quote air quote, right?
sure.
So there's a big difference between actually owning
Oh,
2,000 doors and being a
sure,
general partner on a syndication
sure,
where you have a tiny little sliver of 2,000 doors, which you then prance around and talk about your 2,000 doors, which is the vast majority of these kind of real estate investors. So take it with a shaker full of salt, not just a grain of salt. Take it with a shaker full of salt, and understand that you, with whatever it's going to be after this next deal, 46 units or 50 units or whatever it is, but that you own 100% of that and you're only leveraged up to whatever 40%,
sure.
60% of that is a hell of a lot more net worth and cash flow than quite often these guys with 2,000 doors in their portfolio.
Yeah. And, it's funny because there's a guy that I was following on Facebook and he had like 55K followers, right? And he guy posts all the time, and he got these businesses, and I won't say his name because I don't want to do that, but he had a little call, hey, call in if you want to make seven figures. And I figured, hey, it'd be good to kind of network with a guy like this, and got to talking to him, and I have more real estate than he does, and my profits are way higher. And he's like, well, why did you want to be on this call? I'm like, well, you said to make seven figures. I don't make seven figures a year. I make, sixes. Not yet, but like next year I'll probably make seven figures. And but it's like, when you said this, I thought maybe, maybe you have some sort of ideas. Like I'm open to this, and I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I never will be. And I think like there's so many ways I can be better myself, and maybe he had some things that he does that I could implement part of, And so thought just to have a conversation with, and then he's like, well, I don't know why you even called me, and here I'm thinking, but I have gotten some real estate groups where one guy has over 1,000 doors. He has all by himself. He owns.
Yeah.
He owns golf courses, management, and he's actually younger than me. He's a couple of years. He's my age or so, and I think he's a couple of years younger. But yeah, he's got incredible operations.
Yeah.
And those are the guys that when you're around,
Those are the guys to listen to for sure.
yes, yeah. And it's like if you were in like high school and you were like a track star, right? And you like ran a 5 minute mile and you thought you were really great. And then you go to like college and you go around guys who run like a 440 and you're like, wow, I didn't know this was possible, And so you just like get around people who are running 5 minute miles. And then you find some guys who are running 430 miles. You're like, well, what are you doing that I'm not doing that I can, bring out? And it kind of raises, where you want to be at because you kind of, get in this, okay, like you've kind of exceeded where you can be now. And it's just getting in those rooms with like-minded people and even people that you want to be like, or groups. And sometimes it's a couple $100 a month or, but I found great value in that and kind of my outlook's changed, I guess. So.
No, most definitely. Well, Peter, congratulations on all that you've accomplished and what you're looking to do in the future. If people that are listening or watching this would like to connect with you, how can they do that? What's the best way?
You can reach out. My email is prmillerpropertygroup@gmail.com, prmillerpropertygroup@gmail.com, or Peter Miller on Facebook. I don't have Twitter or Instagram or anything. You can reach out. If you ask me questions, I'm more than happy to help you out. I have people send me questions all the time asking me for, loans or what my opinion like is on things, and I'm more than happy to help out and answer like any questions you have. So
awesome. Well, thanks very much for being on the show. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll talk to you on the next episode.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.